are you? Just give me a second while everyone is trying to get into the room. Get a little more candles out. Maybe. I don't see my other candle holders. No, maybe not. All right. Looks like these are the only candles I'm lighting today. It's dark in here. I lost my other light. Hi, how are you? So if you are just now coming into the room, feel free to drop your name, where you live, what project you're writing for NaNoWriMo, or if you're not even doing NaNoWriMo. I'm going to set up our timer here. Timer. Bring you to this side. Okay. Give me 1 second. I'm coming back to you. Okay. So if you are new to my channel and you're just coming on over, this is pretty much a writer sprint. We are going to do 5, 10, 15, 20-minute increments at a time. We're going to also discuss like how far we're like written so far, how well we're doing, if we're ready just to like call it quits, get in our jammies, Netflix all day long. So yeah, I'm on the verge of like Netflixing this. Like, a part of my brain is like, we're not going to cross this finish line. Let's like go home, go to bed. And the other part, the more stubborn, tenacious part of my brain is like, no, we're going to do this. We're going to get this done. And it's going to be marvelous. And you're going to feel really happy that you stuck it out this long. So I'm kind of like on this side of the brain right now, trying to, sort it all out. Waiting for more people. We'll start at like 7:05 for the first 5-minute sprint. So I write romance, and I kind of jump from different genres from here and there. I write sometimes supernatural romance. I write sometimes really cute, sweet, like romance. And currently, my NaNoWriMo project, I am writing a horror romance. It's a pre-apocalyptic romance that is set in present day. We have a virus that is ravaging the world, and we end up having zombies out of it. And yeah, then we've got quarantine zones. We have a cure. Like all kinds of fun little things. We have like elitism. We have people who are honestly willing to do anything to survive. So yeah, it's been really fun writing it. It's also been a really stressful writing it too, because I'm trying to write it in my own voice, not feel like it's an oversaturated market anyways to write about zombies. So I'm trying to put my own unique touch and spin to it. But I made it into like a romance novel, and a part of me was like, oh, this does not make sense. Like, because we all know everybody dies in a zombie world. So I'm like, how can I make this into a romance? But me being stubborn, I figured it out. And I really like it. And at first I hated it. I was like, oh man, this is going to suck. Like, I have no business writing zombies. Like, I should just stick to what I know, witches and the occult and like really cute, like drama, like type things. So yeah. What have y'all guys been working on? It's okay. If you're shy, you don't have to feel forced to say. Just keep working on your stuff. That's all I can say. Give yourself like a little pat on your back that you're actually like sitting at the table or wherever you write, and your fingers are going clicky, clicky, clacky, or your handwriting. Man, you handwriters, I got to give it to you. Y'all are like real all-stars. Like, I can't do that. Like, I'm always amazed when I find writers that are really into writing. I'm going to silence this. This is going to go off all night. They're really into writing their stories freehand. Y'all guys are brilliant. Brilliant, I say. Oh. So yeah. Another thing about me is I'm a member of Romance Writers of America. So that's cool. I like writing very unique characters, very heavily flawed characters. My writing process is a little messy, kind of like me and my life. Very messy. I used to be a pantser. I kind of am 50-50. This year, well, a few years ago, I started, learning more about plotting and outlining and fast drafting, and I realized that that's a really great technique, and I don't understand why I never used it before. Maybe because a part of my brain was like, no, this is madness, true madness. But then when I put it to use, it was actually really productive. I wrote more outlining and being like focused than this like manic style that I've been doing during Nano. Starting to write my Nano project this year as a pantser really made me feel uncomfortable, like highly uncomfortable. So then I started plotting and outlining on like week 1, week 2. So that was great. And I realized that by at least giving like a rough draft or like a fast draft in a sense, it helped guide me to where I needed to go in the storyline. It was really helpful, and like I'm so happy. Like I just gave in and was like, I'm gonna do this. But I have tried to write linear, where it's like chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, and that didn't work for me. So I had to go back to like that chaotic, like creative space. Um, so then I started writing my chapters out of order. Like yesterday, or no, this morning at like 2 a.m. I was writing my ending to my book. I was like, well, at least if I know where I'm ending this, like I know where we're all gonna go. And so that was super helpful. And it was a very emotional ending. So then I started crying in the middle of the night like a psycho. And and my husband's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yes, I'm okay. I just have feels for these characters so much." So yeah, not sure if you feel that way in your writing process. Okay, so if you are here joining me, we are going to start the first 5 minutes of our sprint. I'm at 751 words. I have not gotten to write any since this morning, so I'm hoping it will be a productive sprint. So feel free to write along with me or be a chaotic gnome and do whatever you want. I'm here for it. I'm here for you. So I'm starting it now. And excuse the clicky clackies and the police, because like I live near a police station. It's crazy over here. is time. Nice. I don't even know what I did. So I've got to find out where I was at. Oh my God. Where was I? I need to put little asterisk signs. All right. So how many words did I write? Oh, nice. I wrote 187 words on top of my 751. Woot, woot. I'm going to be productive. Tomorrow I may not be, but today I am going to be. All right. How did everyone else do? And it's okay if you're shy and you don't want to say nothing. I'm here for it. You know, throw hands, be like, I did it. So I got 100 and, oh God, my brain just like crapped out on me. 187 words. So the scene that I'm writing is kind of like, okay, let's just like dish for a second. So the scene that I'm writing is basically where Evangeline and her dad are about to get the hell out of this quarantine zone. So basically my story involves like a father, a sister, and a baby sister in the beginning scenes. And then of course like Jackson has his part. So how my story layout is, you know, since it's a romance, typically our romances will have just the two characters. I've seen romance novels where it has a majority of different characters, points of views, but I didn't do that. I just wanted to have two of my point of view characters. So I have Evangeline's and I have Jackson's. And so each chapter is going to be shared. So one chapter is Evangeline's and the next chapter is Jackson's. So right now I'm writing in Evangeline's point of view. And we are in this process where Evangeline is about to leave this quarantine zone with her father. They have a hole in the wall where they have been stashing supplies, weapons, because they are about to leave this quarantine zone to get to another quarantine zone. And her dad has been doing some kind of shady jobs here and there just to try to get enough saved up to pay off like guards to allow them to leave. So, it's a very emotional scene because we're having some flashbacks. I don't typically rely on flashbacks in my novels. This is the first time like I'm really working on flashbacks. I kind of like it, I kind of don't. I just feel like flashbacks in a sense are just filler, just a lot of filler. But for me, I felt like it was important to kind of set the stage to kind of understand my character, Evangeline, what she was like before the apocalypse, basically, and what she's like now. Because Evangeline, prior to the world falling apart, was a very softer, kinder, more loving type of character. And now that the world has gone tits up, she's kind of not. She very much follows in her father's footsteps, where it's like, this is a dog world. We have to do whatever we've got to do to survive. If I've got to pull a trigger, I'll pull a trigger. So it's very two different contrasts here. And so I think, like, for me, it's very important to build backstory. I don't like sprinkling backstory. Like, okay, let me rephrase this. I don't like dumping backstory within the first chapter. I think that is horrible. It makes the chapter feel very heavy and clunky. And I just feel that if we writers evenly distribute and sprinkle within maybe the first 10 chapters or maybe throughout, pulling out little nuggets of, information, I feel like we would create more well-rounded characters. And so that's what I'm doing in this scene is I'm opening the lid up from Evangeline, and she has this bunny that is her sister's. I named her sister Amy, and I'm really hating this name. Like, I don't know why. And I'm so sorry, all the Amy's out there in the world. You have a lovely name. But for me, it's not moving me. Like, I've got very Southern character names. I've got Evangeline. I've got Jackson. I still don't know what her daddy's name is going to be. I was thinking Isaac, but I don't know. Maybe Abraham. Like, I don't know. We're still working on that too. So basically, we are in the scene where Evangeline, she is like a teen. Well, she's not a teen, but she's like in her 20s, and her sister is like 5. So her parents had like issues having a second baby. And so, Evangeline was a teenager when her mom was having this child. And so she's kind of going back into her memory vault and thinking about like how this like little bunny came to be. And basically Evangeline, she bought this bunny on Main Street. Her mom was about to give birth and she hadn't gotten anything for the baby, and she wanted something special, and she saw this bunny. She's like, this is it. And so they go into the store, she buys it, and she gives it to her mama. And it's really sad too, because like how I wrote it, I'm an asshole, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna pull out the tears. Basically her mom died in childbirth, and therefore, like, you know she was solely responsible to be like that parent role for Amy, because her dad like really went into a deep dark place, like depression. Like he just, when people that you love die really close to you, you kind of fall apart. Your life turns to shit. Nothing sounds the same, feels the same, or tastes the same. And that's kind of what her daddy does, is he just kind of loses his fucking mind. He can't he can't take care of himself to do simple tasks. Like he can't even take care of his baby because like he's depressed. And sometimes people do that. Like when you lose someone, like even when mothers lose babies, like that's a really hard experience, and we have to normalize that process of grief. And that's what I was doing, because I felt grief. You felt grief. Everybody has felt grief in some shape or form of their lives. And so I really wanted to write about this memory. And so that's what I did. And, it brought Evangeline very like close to Amy in a sense, because they have a very like sister, like very close sister bond, but also very mother-like bond. And then, you know, I wasn't a complete asshole. So when I wrote the story, once her father had grieved and gone through that process, you know, he reconnected with the baby. He was like, "Oh my God, I was so dumb." So we see that in this chapter, but we also see her dad in a whole different light from the first chapter when the world is going tits up. We see him more haggard, more like survivalist, where before like he's a police officer, obeying the law, trying to be more like helpful, and now he's like, fuck everybody else, like this is me and my own, that's it. And I think that is true. When we're in crisis mode, we don't always necessarily think about everybody else. We tend to think of our own. And it's sad to say, but it does happen. And I'm not saying like this is everyone, but for the majority, like it does happen. And so that's the kind of like flawed character that I'm writing about her dad. Because I think having flawed characters are really interesting to write, and it gives you so much more depth and room to like liven your story up. And I love character arcs. I don't think you should have too many, but I like to see the growth of a character. So, but I don't see much growth from her daddy, to be honest. So, but basically, yeah. So I wrote this scene, and I really liked it. At first, I wasn't sure about it because I always second guess myself. And then I wrote it, and I was like, hey, this ain't bad. We're gonna keep up with it, because this scene will later, move us forward to where we meet Jackson. Because as they are trying to escape, or not, well, I guess escape, but you know, be shady and leave the quarantine zone. That's when all hell breaks loose. Someone is infected, and the quarantine zone is no longer safe, and everybody now has to fight for their lives to get out. Even though like they've been trapping everyone in, or not trapping, that's such an asshole way to like talk about quarantine zones. But basically, everyone has been secured in place for their own safety, and now everyone feels kind of trapped inside. So they're they're trying to get out, and then this will lead into Jackson coming in, because him and his granny, they provide supplies to the city because they're farmers, so that's what they do. So they've been providing supplies to these quarantine zones, helping out as much as they can. So that's where Jackson enters in, and these two characters meet, and then Jackson saves the day. And so they end up leaving with Jackson back to the farm, and then all kinds of shenanigans take place. So yeah, so that's fun times. All right, so we are gonna do another 10 minutes, or we're gonna do a 10-minute sprint. Oh, this is fun. So yes, timer. All right, and we're gonna start. Thank you guys for listening to me ramble about my story. I appreciate it. And if you have a better name than Amy, please drop that below, because I need all the help that I can get. Because yeah, Amy's not going to stay. All right, and we're going to start our 10 minutes now. Clicky clacky. right, that is the 10-minute mark. Oh man, how did y'all guys do? Let me see how many words I wrote. Oh goodness, oh goodness, oh goodness. I even lost my place. I gotta go to my version history. See, version history. Where was I last? Help me find my place marker. There's so many words on here. I'm not good at this. My apologies. Nope, that's not it. Not it. Okay, there we go. All right, cool. Now I know where I can go. All right. So I wrote this many words. Come on, tools. I wrote 371 words. Woot! Woot me. I am so happy. I need to write this down. I'm trying to figure out if this chapter is over so I can just move on to the next chapter because, like, I'm so ready to be done with this chapter. Oh my goodness. Let us see. Word count. Oh, wow. So in this chapter alone right now, I have 996 words. I like to have my chapters kind of end at like either 1,000 or like the 1,600 mark. When you're writing on Wattpad, they have a preferable word count for their chapters. I don't know yet if the story is going to be a Wattpad story. I'm honestly thinking that this story could go towards querying. I know. I talked about how I was never going to query. I didn't want to be published traditionally, but I do want to query at least one time to a publishing house, just so that I can say, hey, I did it. I learned something from it. I did not like it. But it's really hard because I'm very picky about who I want to do business with. You know, I know that there's a lot of publishing houses that are more picky about their writers, but I think that us writers need to be very picky about who we're willing to go into business with. Because as of late, if you're not on Twitter, you will find out when you do get on Twitter that there's a lot of like racist publishing houses, publishing agents. Like it's pretty screwed up. So because of that, I'm overly anxious and concerned. I don't want to work for anyone that like is a racist asshole and a bigot. So that's why I was like, oh, well, you know what? I'm just going to work for myself and do indie publishing or just self-publish. So I already know who I am. I know I'm not like either of those things. So fuck it. I'm just going to do me. But I don't know. Everyone keeps saying it's a skill to have. And so maybe I'll just try it and see if I like it. I don't know. If you have advice, drop it in the comments below. I'm always willing to learn new things. And sorry for the mess. I am a hot mess today. I wrote really late into the morning. I slept until 11, which was really nice. And then, yeah, I've just kind of been kicking it. Mostly in bed, just lounging in bed. It's really nice. I don't get to do that very often. My husband was on top of it today. He was like, no, enjoy your day. The kids go back to school on Monday. And for some of you that don't know, now you do. I have kids. I don't talk about them publicly a lot. It's just because I'm one of those parents where it's like me having kids has no effect. Like, shouldn't be anybody's business. I like to keep. I'm a very private person when it comes to my family. Like, I don't put their images online. Um, like my writing career, my family life is a little bit separate. But yes, I'm a mom, and so yeah, and I don't really. The whole reason why I got a pen name was for several reasons. One, because I don't want my children to ever feel embarrassed about the stuff that I write for some reason. Um, there's a stigma towards romance, and a lot of people are embarrassed that their parents write it. And then two, like I chose a pen name because like of personal issues with my family. Like I don't want them reading my stuff. Like I never came out to my mom as being bisexual. Like really not anyone other than like my friends and my husband at the time. Like those are the only ones that like I really come out of the closet with. Honestly, I just don't think that my sexual orientation or who I date or don't date is really my family's business. So there's that. I still feel weird about it. And eventually I will write a bi book, and I'm really like, that's what I'm going to be drafting this summer because it's in one of my notebooks for thoughts and ideas. It's a bisexual witchy book, so I'm really excited. Um, so so yeah, I'm sorry, I'm super like weird. So I'm really excited about that. But getting back to the family thing, like, so I don't know. I just didn't want my parents to take credit for like my success or lack of success. Like, it's a weird place to be in. Like, so my parents are divorced, and like my dad refuses to talk to me, my bio dad, and so it's just kind of like, I don't want like my last name, Flores. So yes, I'm a Flores. I don't want my last name to be like, oh yeah, that's my kid. I'm like, okay, that's great, but where the fuck have you been? So I didn't want to deal with that business, and I didn't want like this overwhelming like anxiety of like, oh well, that's my kid. She's a writer, blah 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 blah. And then everybody be like, okay, so you call yourself a writer, but where's your book? Like, why does it take so long to write a book? I just don't talk about it. Like my husband and a few of my like close personal like friends, they're aware of what I'm doing. They know what I'm up to. Like my husband's family, they know, and they don't really question me. They're really not interested in what I do. His auntie, who's a writer, she's questioned me. She's helped me actually like get to this point. Because before I was just kicking it on Gaia, writing for free, not like really going anywhere. So then I realized, you know what? I need to do this. I need to do a writing career. I want to live the life of an artist. And everyone kept saying my paintings weren't going to pay off. Well, in their face, it really did. But, they're like, I like to write. And maybe someone will like my stories. I don't know. It's a weird place to be in when you don't believe in yourself. I'm getting better. So yeah. And I'm hoping everyone who comes on or swings by later tonight, I hope y'all's writing is going a lot better than mine. I think it's so great to see so many people like involved in NaNoWriMo. Seeing so many people who've already like finished the finish line, like they're already done. And what astonishes me is when people are done within like week 2 and week 3, and I'm just going, holy crap, are you a demigod? Like, what are you? Because this is crazy. But I'm super excited for everybody. Like, I want everyone to be just as successful. Like, I'm one of those people. I'm super positive for everybody else. I'm like, you got this. You're gonna do great. I just need to learn to give that love back to myself sometimes because I am my worst enemy. Um, when I'm editing, I hate everything, and I have to remind myself to cool it before like I start deleting and taking things out. So often I'm having to like let other people read it before I start like trashing it myself. All right. So we did 10, we did 5, we did 10. I'm about to hit the 15-minute mark. So I'm going to go ahead and put on the timer. If you need to go to the bathroom, go do that now. Go get your snacks, get on your jammies, get comfortable, play some smooth jazz, get in the writing mood. All right. So I'm starting now. Oh, oh God. Where is my stuff? Okay. god, this is gonna get so good. Sorry. Sorry. Okay. Get together. Calm down, girl. You've had too much candy. Okay, I got this. Such an asshole. Sorry, characters. You got blown up. It's all for good things. Well, we got 43 minutes left. I'm just going to use some of this dark chocolate because I need a break. That was too much for me. Oh my god. Oh, ew. And that is time. Ooh. How many words have y'all guys written? I gotta see what mine is. Ah, that chocolate is so good. I'm giving myself a delicious treat. Oh yeah, no, that I went too far. Sweet bananas. Where do we start? Okay. So we did 15. Let's go here. Oh. It's right here. Excuse my scrolling. I am lost. I need to like tab these. All right. Oh no, it's another alarm. It's come to haunt me. Go away, alarm. All right. It's not time for me to go to bed. Oh, it is 8 o'clock. Oh, this is so great. We wrapped up really nice. Okay, so my word count as of 8 o'clock is 380 for this last writer sprint. So for tonight, in total, this is what I have. This is for chapter whatever. This is what I've got for today, because I'm probably not going to write anymore tonight because I is tired. For today, I have written, holy bananas, I have written 1,376 for today. Guys, I think that's a good number. I know that I probably need 14,000 words just to break even for today's quota, but honestly, I'm not going to do that. I did do this. I am happy with this. I blew up my characters. It is so awesome to create carnage and drama, to bring two very hot characters together. Thank you guys so much for coming out and joining my writer sprint. That is it in a nutshell. I am going to be hosting another one on I want to say it's on the 30th. Yeah, I'm going to be crazy. We're going to host another one on the 30th because we are only 2 more days in this. And so if you have not met your word count and you do not want to give up, please join me back here on Monday. Maybe we'll do it in the morning. Maybe we'll do it at night. I don't know. I will let you know by tomorrow once I figure this out. So if you need a cheerleader, I'm your girl. Again, this is Madeline Gray signing off, and I appreciate your time. Bye, guys.